Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Hard Nine podcast. Today is July 28th, 3 days from the trade deadline, and things seem to probably be heating up across baseball and hopefully heating up here in St. Louis as the Cardinals seem to give everybody a glimmer of hope by taking the first two games of San Diego and then just in typical Cardinal fashion went ahead and just shit the bed in the next two.
Yeah, I, when I was watching those games, they were fun to watch. I thought they were good games for the most part. They got absolutely killed in the game four, but the other games I thought were really well played baseball games against two teams that are, I would say, comparable skill level. I think the Padres are definitely better, more well-rounded. Maybe not more well-rounded. I think they have more star power, which can carry you through a game. Manny Machado, Tatis, Dylan Cease, and all the guys they have. But I thought they were fun games. I thought it kind of illustrated the Cardinals aren't that much worse than whatever team's going to make the third wild card. They're not. But I think the Cardinals are in a unique position right now to say that's not our goal anymore. We need
Yeah.
to try and be better than that because they're not winning a World Series this year. I know you can luck into a run. There are things you need to be able to luck, quote unquote, luck into that run. And I don't know if the Cardinals have any of those things. I don't think they have power. I don't think they have star pitching, and I don't think they have an elite bullpen. So, I think roundabout way of saying this, I think losing those two games to San Diego needed to happen.
Yeah, well, agreed, 100%. That was the best thing that could happen. Can I also say, I guess I don't watch enough Padres games. Like I don't watch as many as I should. They're not that good. That team is not that good. I mean, obviously, I understand they lost Michael
Pitching
King
injuries.
and they lost
Joe
oh
Musgrove,
Musgrove. I understand that. Please, I get that.
those will be
But
the Cardinals' two best pitchers.
that team is not that lineup is not that good.
Well,
They're
here's
near the
the
bottom in home runs.
Yeah, well, Tatis went through like a 5 week stretch without hitting one, which is obviously abnormal for him. Um, Manny's kind of had a resurgence. Remember, he had that down year after
Yeah.
2022. I think it was 2023, I guess. And since then, he's been really good again. He had elbow problems. Luis Ariz is not a two hitter in Major League Baseball. People are calling him Tony Gwynn. He's not that. Like he's just not. And then I don't know. Like after that, who are you scared of? Like Xander
I mean,
Bogaerts
Cronenworth has
was calm.
regressed. I think Jackson Merrill has
Yeah,
having a sophomore slump. I mean, he's still talented.
injuries,
Like
but
the
yeah.
talent is there, right? But that lineup does not. Their
Xander
bullpen is
Bogaerts.
really good. I think their bullpen is really good.
Yeah.
But
But guess what do you think the talking point is about their bullpen in San Diego with Mike Schilt running it? Guess.
I'm sure it's overuse.
Jason Adam has the most appearances in baseball by like five.
Well, I think like for the first three games, he used like three of the guys all 3 nights. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's just like he does this every year,
yes,
and Craig Castle used to do the same thing. That's why Josh Hader just said no more. I'm not doing it anymore. You're risking my future. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't think like Xander Bogaerts is the worst hit contract ever handed out in Major League Baseball history, and I don't think it's close.
it's well, I don't know. I mean, Chris Davis's was pretty bad. So
Okay, yeah, no fair. Second worst.
Bobby Bonilla's in New York was pretty bad.
I don't even think that one was that bad. I think it's just infamous because of the deferments.
Right, right. I mean, Griffey was the same way. He has deferments in Cincinnati. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see. Like, if you're the Padres organization, we know that Preller will go. Like, he will go in, and we know that he
Mhm.
is willing to deal prospects, which they have always done. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they trade Dylan Cease. I mean, that's getting loud a little bit. Like, if they can kind of almost sell, get guys, then buy. I think that's going to be an interesting move to see if he can do
I
that,
mean,
if he can pull that off.
yeah.
There's going to be teams who will be lined up for Dylan
The
Cease's.
thing, yeah, for sure. The thing you can never say about AJ Preller is that he lacks creativity.
Agreed. And Cease hasn't been great this year. He has not been his
No, but
normal
like
Dylan Cease self, but the
if
strikeouts are still there. So
right, if you're in a playoff game, do you feel good about him on the mound? I would say yes.
absolutely, absolutely,
Anyway, let's get to the Cardinals because
yep.
the Padres aren't where we need to be talking about.
Just
Um,
I was shocked that I wasn't as impressed. I was not impressed with that team at all.
yeah, it doesn't surprise me because I kind of was shocked how good they were last year, if
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah,
Jackson Merrill was obviously a big reason for that because he was
right.
so good. I for the Cardinals, some interesting news today. I guess we can start here. Ivan Herrera is playing in left field. I got a couple thoughts on it. None crazy. One like good. Um, there's nothing bad about trying him out there. If he's horrible, he's horrible. Who cares? It's a season that right now is the time to be experimenting with things. So I'm 100% okay with it. I think doing it in July is great because you probably now you can honestly run him out there every single day as long as he has no more leg problems. And see what it looks like. If it's bad, then you don't do it next year. If it's good, then you found an outfielder that can actually hit for power for the first time since Tyler O'Neill in 2021, which is great. And my second thought, and this is where the more concerning thing comes in for me, is I understand that catching is by far the most demanding position on your legs. It just is. But Ivan's injuries have all been running, right? Running injuries. I am concerned that if he is a very tightly wound guy, okay, he's very compact, he's not very tall, he's stocky. It concerns me a little bit that he's gonna now be running more. And that's the only thing that I could say is a concern for me.
Right. I understand that. Do you think it is telling that he's in left field right now with the trade deadline coming up?
Um, I don't think it's unrelated, is what I'll say. But here's my question to you. Is 3 days enough for you to know anything that would sway you one way or the other when it comes to trading an outfielder? Because like, unless he goes out there and makes five of the craziest catches you've ever seen, which he's not going to do. And even if he does, they're probably balls Newbar wouldn't have had to make look crazy. Um, I I wouldn't say it's unrelated, but I also think it would be really dumb if they're like, let's put him out there, and if he looks good, then we know we can move on from him. That shouldn't be a factor.
I don't think that's it. I think that there could be the sign that they are moving on. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's possible for
I
sure.
don't think it's an audition. That's not what I was trying to say. What I was trying to say was that might be your left fielder for 25 and 26,
Yeah,
and that's where they're heading. That's all I would that's where I was
yeah.
coming from.
But I guess my point would be that I guess it's a sign maybe, so maybe now we might know for sure that that's the case. If Nupar's traded, we can look back and say, okay, that was their plan. But also at the same time, like if they wanted to give him 5 more days without like working out there before they put him out there, then it still would have been the same calculus. So I've seen people say, well, if he's good out there, then you move Nupar. And even I think I put that if it looks like even a little bit tenable, like slightly tenable, that he can be out there and just catch baseballs. I don't care if he gets to all the balls in the gap, then you can move on from Newt. The question I have for you, and this is something I was thinking about, do you think Ivan Herrera, had being a guy that said today, one, he's never played outfield under lights, which I love, because obviously from Panama, I don't know how many lights are in
Right.
their stadiums. Maybe a lot, but I just don't know. But
Right.
also, he said he hasn't played since he was 14. What are the odds that he is a better left fielder than Alec Burleson?
I don't know. I don't know that answer.
Because if he's
I'd
not,
say
then it's almost
slim.
unnecessary.
I would
Right.
say
I mean, you
slim.
would think so, right? Because
Yeah.
Burley, like, he doesn't get to a lot of balls. I don't know the sprint speed difference. I would say I know Herrera's sprint speed has dipped since his leg injuries. Shocker. Probably on purpose, I would guess. But I don't know. Maybe they just think Herrera's a building block and they think he might be the guy for this franchise as he continues to look more like it. And
Try,
they don't want him to be a DH. That might be
do
the
you
case.
also think looking into the crystal ball that it could mean that Wilson Contreras is going to get dealt?
That
And
was another thing I was thinking about.
that's why Alec Burleson is your first baseman, which opens up the flexibility at DH, which by the way we need back because that does suck to have a 23-year
But
old, 24-year old at the DH spot every day.
my question then again, it's the same question. Why don't you just put Herrera at first base then?
No, what I'm saying is Burley will be your first baseman. That's what I'm like they
Right, but if
believe.
Burley's better in left field, then you would just put Burley in left field and Herrera at
Right, right.
first. But I guess the answer could be that right now you can't play Herrera at first because Contreras is on the team.
Correct. That's yes.
Now my answer to that while we're getting into this, and I think let's start with the no trade clause guys that could be moved for this. And
Right.
we'll say if we think they will be moved. I don't really care about where or for what because I don't know.
No, I have
And we'll
no
start with
clue.
Wilson because I want to give a little bit of a backstory on Wilson this week and why he made me happy like he always does, because I love that man to death. Um, he got plunked twice more against San Diego. After going out and saying, "Hey, I'm not getting backed by my guys," basically, and that's why it's going to keep happening. The Cardinals finally retaliated. Matthew
Yes.
Liberatore, shout out. They made the young guy do
Yep.
it, of course, because why would the veterans do it? Um, and they hit Manny Machado, which obviously if you're gonna go after somebody, you're gonna go after him or Tatis, probably Machado, because he's the established guy. And then Andre Granillo, I don't know if it was on purpose, but I didn't look like much of an accident. Hit him again in the ninth inning. And then Manny, rightfully so. Like I have no problem. People have problems with this. Manny had a right to be pissed off. If I was
Of
him, I'd
course
be
he
angry
did.
too. Because guess who wasn't throwing the baseballs that hit Wilson Contreras? Manny Machado was not, and that could cost him money and could cost him his career. So I get it. But the guy that stopped Manny Machado in his tracks from getting anywhere close to any one of the players was
Yes,
Wilson Contreras.
I
He
know.
said,
I
"You
saw
are
that.
not going anywhere near any of my guys. You're going to have to go through me, and I know you
Yep,
won't do that." And Manny's a
correct.
psychopath. Remember, he threw bats
Yeah,
at people. He's not
yes.
sane all the time. Um, I just I think I've reached a point in my fandom with Wilson Contreras that I don't care if it makes sense. I don't care if, maybe logically speaking, moving Wilson Contreras is good for the franchise. I don't want him to play anywhere else.
I
And I
know.
think sometimes
I
as a
get it.
fan, it's okay to be that way because I am a
Yeah,
fan. I want to watch Wilson Contreras play baseball for the Cardinals until he's done playing baseball.
yeah. I agree with that. Just to be fair, I think Miles, the umpires put Miles in a spot where he couldn't retaliate, and we can talk about that whenever you'd like, because my disdain for Major League umpires or umpires across the board. But giving a warning in that like takes away policing the game of baseball, and I hate that. And I'm not saying that I'm for all the time guys going out and just retaliating just to retaliate. And I don't even believe that Wilson in the first game was hit on purpose. I don't think that he
He
was.
wasn't hit
He
on
did
purpose any of the times, I don't
right.
think.
But what it does when the umpires do that and they warned both teams, that takes it away. That takes the ball out. Miles Michaels can't hit anybody because now all of a sudden you're in the bullpen in the third inning. So that is one thing I
Yeah,
will
I
say,
agree.
and I hate that the umpires do that. And I get why both managers were angry. Both starting pitchers were angry. Wilson was angry because that's just the umpires need to stay out of it until it gets to a point where they don't need to stay out of it. And that's what I would like to
Yeah.
see more of. Also, just to say, ironically, Miles was good this weekend and Michael McGreevy wasn't. And we've been on here really
Mhm.
pushing to get Michael McGreevy here and really bashing Miles Michaelis. So it was sort of the upside down weekend against the Padres.
Good is an interesting term when you give up 7 hits in 5 innings, but I guess he was
I
good
get
when
it.
he was.
Relative. I
When he
get
was.
it.
Um, yeah, he was lucky, which is what he's going to have to be. And
Okay.
that's not even hating on him. It's just where he's at in his career, and we can all accept that. I'm sure he has. Well, maybe he hasn't. I don't know. He does say some delusional things at times. But yeah, I agree with that. But I also think the umpire's job is to protect players. Like that is part of their job. Their job
I
is
am.
so in that situation, I get it. But I just find it funny that you warned him, you warned them that day, and then the next day it happens again, and then
And
Manny was clearly hit on purpose. Like, and shout out to Manny, he didn't really even react to that one. It was the second one that made him angry because you don't need to be hit twice in that situation.
right.
Um, so you just didn't the second time be like, okay, I understand why you're hitting him. I don't know.
Do you think maybe Granillo was like eating something in the bullpen and wasn't paying attention when Libby hit him? And he's
It
like, "Oh,
was
I'm gonna go hit
0-2.
Manny. I'm
That's
taking
also
care of him."
like if it's if, yeah, maybe. But by the way, he got sent down today.
I
Um,
know. Which I don't understand
0-2.
that. Explain that.
Uh, Turning through the bullpen, I'm fine with it. Like Matt
Okay.
Swanson also has been really good at times.
Right.
I think when you get some of these guys out, which we'll talk about later, you'll be able to have both of them up the entire
Yeah,
time.
let's get back to the trade talk because that is kind of where
Yeah,
we
so
were
let's go
heading,
with
and I
Contreras.
kind of
Is he
derailed us a little
moved?
bit
Yes
there.
or no? My answer is that Wilson Contreras is a Cardinal for sure by the end of August, and I think probably for next year as well. That's my
I
that's
think
my
Wilson
opinion.
and Sonny, neither one are getting moved. Sonny's pretty much said so, right? That he doesn't want to waive his no trade clause. I believe both those guys will be on the Cardinals moving forward. I love that Wilson is, but there's also part of me that wishes Wilson would get traded to a team like Houston or a team that I could root for in the playoffs, and I could root for him in the playoffs. That's what I wish.
I wish more than anything that I can see him play for the Cardinals in the playoffs. And
Yeah, I do too.
I'm going to be very sad if that never happens. I've said this on here a lot. And so I'm still holding out hope that for some reason next year they're good and I can see him at some point in a
Right.
playoff game.
I
So
agree.
I want Wilson here. Sonny, I want to be traded. I think he's declining, and I two things here. One, it's 100% Sonny's right to when you sign a contract with a no trade clause, just like we said about Arenado, you have the right to not get traded if you don't want to get traded. That's he signed that, you gave him that. So I'm not going to be angry at the player for doing what he thinks is best for him and his family. That's his job as a human being, more so than a baseball player. Also, like what are you getting realistically for Sonny Gray? Because
Right.
if we remember correctly in the way they structured his contract, he's making $35 million next year.
I
How
know.
much of that do you have to eat to get anything?
Yep.
You know what I
A
mean? Like
lot.
that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So if you're going to eat $15 million next year, just keep him and let him pitch.
Right. I agree. I agree with that.
So
So
I'm okay with both of those. The guy that's interesting here with the no trade clauses is Nolan Arenado because this was the entire conversation of the offseason. I think 100% he should be traded if it's even possible. I don't see anyone out there that he will go to that will want him.
yeah, is Houston the only team potentially? that like he
Yeah,
might now say yes to. Like,
well,
because here's the thing: the Cubs need a third baseman. The Cardinals are not trading Nolan Arenado to the Cubs, so that's not
also he's a
happening.
downgrade from what they currently have.
They aren't right. I'm just saying if they wanted
I'm
to
just saying, like,
upgrade
that
over
doesn't make any
Shaw,
sense at
I get
all.
it. I get it.
That's not. I don't think it's an upgrade over Shaw. I don't.
No, I don't either. I'm not arguing that. I'm simply saying the Cubs are one of those teams that are out there that are looking at third
Yeah.
baseman. I think the Dodgers are out there looking at third baseman potentially. I think they're always looking at everything. Tommy Edman was
Mhm.
starting there the other night when I was watching the game. So I think that they're probably looking at it. I don't know that I mean, that might be your only possibility is that it is the Dodgers and that he would go out there
Yeah.
and I guess in what would be almost a platoon situation with Muncy. I don't know that answer. Because if he's
Yeah.
already said no
But
to Houston, I don't know that Houston is the team. They're not, like I said, I don't know. I don't know what the market is, if there even is one for Nolan Arenado. And I think that at this point, you're going to have to eat so much of the contract and then just hope and pray that somebody will take him off your hands.
yeah, I think you're at a situation where you're gonna have to eat most of it.
Yes.
Like if not like 75% of it probably. If you're just willing to do that and you're not getting anything in return and it's just such a headache to find anyone he's willing to go to, I wouldn't be opposed to in the offseason just saying, you know what, Nolan, we appreciate everything you've done, but we've got to clear up that third base spot. And we're
Yep.
gonna have to eat all this money anyway. So we're just gonna let you choose where you want to go as a free agent.
Yeah.
Like they're getting to a point with him where it's just like he's not valuable anymore. Like he's a
None.
great defensive player, and I'll never take that away from him. And I
Yes.
genuinely love watching him play defense. And I don't think it's any work ethic. He's one of the hardest workers ever. If anything, it might be the opposite that he works himself too hard. But it just if he were to ever have another good season, I don't think there's any way it's in St. Louis.
Yeah. I agree with that. I
And
agree
that
with that.
sucks, but it is where we're at. And at some point we have to accept the reality that it's been a downtrend for 3 years after his great 2022.
As much as I would love it to happen, I will be surprised if Nolan Arenado is traded in the next 3 days.
Me
That's what
too.
I'll say.
I will
Yeah.
too. And the only way is like if Eugenio Suarez goes to the Mariners, right? He goes back there, which I don't know why they would do that, but they might. And then at that point, like it opens up opportunities. But Mark Feinsand said the Astros don't really want to circle back, which I don't blame them at all. Why would
I
you?
don't either. I don't either.
Like,
That's we'll get to Suarez in a little bit. We'll get to that in a little bit because I got a couple questions on that. Yeah, I just think he's here. I think Sonny's here. I think Wilson's here. I think if you're the Cardinals and you don't trade Helsley, Maton, Romero, you could add in other
well,
guys,
let's
I
let's put
assume.
Romero on a different one because let's go Helsley, Maton, and Mats. Those are all three expiring contracts.
Right.
So it would be absolutely insane not to trade any one of those three because they're all going to
Yeah.
have markets. And Maton's, all three of them, I think, will get you decent returns, varying levels. Like, I don't know what you can expect from Helsley. Emmanuel Clase's apparently getting suspended, maybe. Like, we don't know what's going on with that gambling stuff. So he's off the market now, basically. So now you have for sure the best relief pitcher on the market. Now, I don't know what that does for them, but I think him, Maton, and Mats are guaranteed to be gone.
Yeah, and we have seen in the last, I fill in the blank on the years. I don't want to like hypothesize and make a number up, but that the reliever market is look what Tanner Scott last year. Look what Tanner Scott got in a trade last year. Like the reliever market is
Carlos
bigger than the
Estevez.
starters market, I would say right now. If you look at the teams who are in it, like I don't know
Mhm.
what starters like are going to be out there outside of Dylan Cease that are going to command what Ryan Helsley's going to command on the trade market.
Yeah, if you play this right, then you could get one of the best returns of any player traded at this deadline,
Do
depending
you
on if
trust Mo to do that?
I don't. Okay, I have a running theory. I don't think Mo's actually doing it.
Okay. Do you trust Heim Bloom to do that?
Yes. Now, I
Okay.
think, and by saying that, they're going to say that they say Mo's doing it, and that's what they're saying. So maybe he is. I think it's just so absurdly dumb for him to actually be doing it that what they're doing is saying he's doing it because
Hmm.
if they were buying, I think he would be doing it, and they're sticking with it just so he doesn't have look like a puppet.
Weekend at Mo's.
I mean, wouldn't that make the most sense? Like,
They got him out there propped up with the sunglasses on at the press conference.
it's just one of those things that makes so little sense that I can't believe they're actually doing it that way.
Well, yes, but that list gets longer and longer. It does seem like by the year. So yes, but we agree.
And we'll never know the
Are there?
truth,
Do you see
but
the Cardinals trading any position players? We talked about this a little bit last time. I think Newbar's on that list. I know he's hurt. It feels like in the past it used to be you couldn't deal a guy who was hurt. Now you can. Like, is this a
you can.
completely okay? All right. I don't you
which
think
is
that
also
he's
that was always a dumb thing. That was
yeah,
never
I
made any
we
sense.
agree. Don't you think he'd be
Because we traded Harrison Bader
the
when he was
only
hurt.
one if you're not dealing Nato or Contreras? Like it's only Lars, don't you think?
I would say Nootbaar and Gorman are the two, and we gotta talk about Donovan in a second, but Nootbaar and Gorman are the two that like I could see why you would consider it. Like Nootbaar would be one that would you get value for him? I think you would. It would almost make sense to me like if the Dodgers, and it's always them, but if the Dodgers were like, we really like Nootbaar, we really like Helsley, you really like these two prospects, and we're only giving you either of those two if you give us both. And then that might be a situation where you do it.
Right. That's what I
Now,
had
I
said
don't
a couple
really,
weeks ago. Was maybe
yeah,
that ups the value by dealing them both.
it's possible. Now that has to work out that way. I don't know if the Dodgers like either of the two. They might not. But
Right.
um yeah, I don't know if I mean we have to give a prediction. I don't think Nootbaar is I would say no. I don't think he's traded.
Okay. I mean, Helsley to the Dodgers makes a lot of sense. The Tanner Scott injury. Now they do say it wasn't structural, which good for him. I'm a Tanner
He's also
Scott
been
fan.
trash, to be honest,
So,
this
but
year.
he has not been great this year.
No.
And so I think there is something more than what they're saying as far as that structure goes with his arm. Whenever that's a forearm or elbow, everybody know like you can just kind of almost guess what it's going to be. We're seeing Bryce Miller keep trying to rehab it in Seattle, and I think eventually they're going to shut him down and probably have Tommy John. We can talk about TK Roby in a little bit if you'd like to do that. But I just think that does make sense. I know they got Trinan. Who's the other guy out there that they have that also?
Gratterall,
Yeah, Gratterall. There's another. Their bullpen is good, but I
Kirby
could see.
Yates.
I mean, but you could fill Helsley in. Like, I mean, the Yankees would make sense. Like
He
for
makes
a
sense for every contending
right.
team.
Yes, the Astros.
Like
I mean, I don't think the Astros
it's
would do
every
it
team.
because of
It's every
Hater.
one.
But yes, I agree.
But what's your prediction on Nootbaar? Is he traded or not?
I'm gonna say no, but I think that he should be.
I think he should be for sure, but I don't know if he will be. Um, and we skipped over JoJo. My opinion on JoJo is I think they should definitely trade him because he's at peak value, and I don't think they will though, because I think there's a world where they talk him themselves into him being their closer next year,
Right. That's
and you're
scary.
losing your closer. I
Riley
mean, it
O'Brien's
is.
been pretty good.
He has been, but I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know though. Like we are living in a weird transition period, like we talk about, where we don't know what Heimblum wants to do. Maybe he's like, yeah,
Right.
get JoJo Romero the hell out of here. Like he
Yeah.
could be saying that. And if you're Mo, you basically probably have to listen to that. I would guess,
Speaking
unless you
of, if
just
it was Mo or if it was not Mo, somehow he did deal Eric Fetty,
yeah.
or
Um,
someone did, in a world where
yeah.
I
I
never thought
just
that would happen.
here I saw a lot of praise for it. I hope people realize when they're praising the Eric Fetty trade that they're just praising the ownership save money.
Right. Right. Agreed.
That's
Yeah.
the only thing that happened by him not clearing waivers.
Yes.
So my take on it is that I don't care.
Right. Right.
Like he did do
Um,
it, but at the same time, you know what that means to me? That you didn't need to start him the last two times because someone was going to take him regardless. If anything, you hurt his value.
TK Roby, Tommy John, that sucks. That was a guy that I was kind of hoping would maybe get a shot to pitch in the bigs a little bit this year. And now you're without him for 2026 for sure. Did this sort of sneak up out of nowhere?
I knew he was injured, but I didn't know the severity of it because
Yeah.
minor league injuries are weird. They try not to disclose them as much as
It's like hockey.
possible. Yeah, and I mean, it sucks, but it's also like the reason that they got TK Roby for Jordan Montgomery was because of this.
Right.
So like you wouldn't have him if he wasn't injury prone. It just sucks because it's on top of Tink Hintz who can't stay healthy and Cooper Jerpy who had Tommy John and Quinn Matthews who had an injury earlier this year and now doesn't know how to throw a strike and might be injured again. So it I tweeted out today after that that injury came down that the Cardinals used all of their good luck because for Albert Pujols' 700 home runs and I guess I have to be okay with that. And I am okay with it honestly because at the time I
Right.
would have traded this. But
Yeah.
it just feels like they can't catch a break to be
No,
honest
well,
with you.
the new ratings came out and Liam Doyle made the new prospect ratings at 68. I think I saw.
Which seems high to me, but
I
I
thought
don't
so
know.
too. I thought he'd be lower. Willits was 30.
Yeah, I mean, he's an exciting player and he was the number one overall pick, so that boosts him no matter
Why
what.
were the Cards fans like you said, I very rarely get on there, but everybody did not want Willits. Why? What was the reason for that?
They're worried that he doesn't hit for power.
Okay.
Now he is
Okay.
17, but like just keep that in a switch hitter. So
Yes. Okay.
also like just like 17-year-olds in general, I don't get excited about because I just don't know.
Hard to. Hard to. Um,
You didn't predict JoJo. Do you think he's gone?
yes, I do.
I think
A
that would
lefty
make the most
reliever,
sense.
yes.
I think it would make the most sense. So my answer is probably not.
Okay.
That's
All
where I'm
right.
at.
All right. So do
Um,
you see outside of Newbar? I don't think Gorman gets traded. Do you?
I just don't think you're going to get anything for him.
Yeah. It just doesn't make
The guy that
sense.
we need to talk about because it's swirling everywhere is Brendan Donovan. Katie Wu did say they
Told
are
you.
listening to offers on Donovan. Now, let me just lay this out here for a second. If the Cardinals weren't listening to offers on every player in their organization, they'd be brain dead.
Right.
Like I said on Twitter, even JJ Weatherholt. Because what if the Braves are like, maybe Ronald Acuna Jr. hates Brian Snicker. I don't think he does, but what if in this hypothetical he did? And they're like, well, we want JJ Weatherholt. He's our number one prospect in baseball on our draft board. Then you would trade him for Ronald Acuna Jr.
Right. Right.
So you listen on everybody. Like if someone comes to you and gives you an offer for Brendan Donovan that's so good that you just can't say no in good faith and think you're doing the right thing by your organization, then you do it. But I just don't think I've said this for a few years in here. I think he is one of those guys that will always be more valuable to your team than he will be on the trade market.
That could be. We just don't
And
know
there
how
are
other.
guys like that.
We just don't know
We
how
don't,
other
right?
organizations
It
view
could be
him.
wrong.
Right.
That definitely could be wrong, but it's just like that didn't move me at all because I think it would be malpractice to not listen. Like, why would you hang
Can I
up?
say something you might not agree with?
You're gonna say they
And I
should trade
talked
him?
about this last time. I don't think his trade value will ever be higher than it is right now, coming off an all-star appearance and what he's done in the first half. Like
Mhm.
I just don't think that it will. Now I hope I'm wrong. I hope he goes out and he's an all-star four more times. Not because you have to pick a Cardinal, but because he deserved it. I'm not saying that's why he made it this year.
He
That's
deserved it
not what
this
I
year.
meant.
He deserved it.
Okay.
I
Right.
know. I'm
We
just saying.
agree. But well, somebody will hear this and they'll say, "Oh, well, like ha ha ha, lol. You don't know what you're talking. Like, come on, right? That's not what I mean." But I do believe, and I said this about Matt Carpenter back in the day, and I've said about a few other guys back in the day. Like maybe we start trading guys at their peak value, and I think this is peak Brendan Donovan value. I could be wrong. I could totally be
I don't
wrong.
think there. My argument, not even argument. My take on that would be that I don't think there's any way you could be wrong.
Okay.
Because he's not going to get more control at the price he's at. So he's not going to. He's at the best probably he's ever performed right now. I would say maybe a little. I haven't looked to see what the like wins above replacement numbers are compared to his rookie year, but he has to be right up there with the best he's ever performed. And he has what 2.5 years of service time left, I believe. So it probably is simply because he's going to get less service time. And then if he's here for like, let's say he's here, he's had an extension, right? Then he's getting paid probably market value or maybe even slightly above. So I don't think there's any way his value could ever go up.
I'm intrigued to know. I really would be intrigued to know without looking around. And I'm sure somebody can, and you might be able the one who can answer this. Like what teams are look like Donovan serves so many purposes, right? Like he can
Mhm.
play second and third. Yes, he can play short, but you're not going to trade for Brendan Donovan to be your overall shortstop. They're not
No,
going to do that.
no.
He can play the outfield, but I don't think
Uh-huh.
his value is as high in the outfield as it is at second base or whatever. But I
Offensively,
mean,
yeah.
that's a guy that I think a lot of teams will be interested in. Well, the first team again that comes to the mind is the Dodgers or the Rays because both of those teams utilize guys in multiple positions. I think the Blue Jays is one that's interesting to me. I think the Astros, who have
Yeah.
been, that's one that really piques my interest because of all the injuries they've had. They are getting Pena back, I think, this weekend. But I'm just
Who's been
intrigued.
awesome, by the way.
The Mariners, is that? I mean, I just wonder.
I mean, what are you going to give them? The Mariners don't want to trade pitching, so I don't think they'd line up.
Right. Yeah.
But if you were to I think the only team, and this could be completely wrong, and tell me if I'm wrong. The only team currently in contention that wouldn't have Brandon Donovan batting first or second is the Dodgers in their lineup.
Right. Although the regression of Mookie Betts is frightening. Like if you look at,
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he's
know if it's
Mookie
hurt,
Betts.
but I know, but he's been really, really rough,
Yeah, I mean
especially
he
the last
lost all
few
that weight
months.
at the beginning of the season. I mean
Yeah.
it could have been that, but I
Yep.
just don't think there's any team in baseball outside of the Dodgers because they're not. I mean, then you just put Freddie Freeman there if that's what you're doing. Where he wouldn't bat first or second. I just think he'd
Yeah.
be up like on the
I mean, the
Yankees. He's batting
Padres,
first,
right? The Padres who are just in town. Like you look at that team and you think you put Brendan Donovan at the top of that order with Jackson Merrill and those guys, and
and
everybody
Tatis.
moves down a little bit. That just makes
Yeah,
your lineup, it makes your lineup so much longer.
you could
Like
bat a
you
Rice
have the
sixth.
bullpen, you have the starting pitching, probably, potentially. Like I was thinking that
Yeah.
was a team, but again, we're digressing here. But I just always wonder. I will just stick to the fact that I think his value is probably the highest it's ever been right now. I'm not saying I want him out of St. Louis, But if
Mhm.
you are completely ready to like sort of tear it down a little bit to
They're
rebuild
not, clearly.
quickly, partial, whatever, a redo, like one of those
The problem
shows
is they
that's on
can't,
the home
though. Isn't that the
network.
problem? Is that they
Yeah,
can't because of all these no trade clauses.
right. Yes,
But like if my answer is no, I don't think Brandon Donovan's traded.
I agree.
I just don't think it's newsworthy that they're listening on him because they you would have to be in this situation.
I also think you could get a team like the Padres or the Mariners to overpay for him.
Yeah, but then you're talking about like what's overpaying.
Well, yes,
I'm just saying like oh
I know.
you have to get a deal where you feel like you're winning.
But let me ask you this, and I don't know this answer, and Kareem and Kyle would know this answer way more, but you would probably, you're tuned in as well with all those guys pretty well. So, like, if you're the Cardinals and you're looking at Tink Hens who can't get healthy, you're looking at TK Roby's now on the, he's out next year. You don't know what's up with Quinn Matthews. You've already laid this out. You've laid all these guys out that probably were going to be fighting for starting jobs or a starting job
Right.
next
Yeah.
year. I mean, you almost have to start looking at guys who are either major league ready or right on the cusp of being major league ready. And
Mhm.
if you can deal a Brendan Donovan or a Lars Nootbaar, filling up like Helsley, like we know that those deals are out there, but that's got to be the targets you have instead of going after low A or double A prospects. It almost has to be guys because we can't go back to going out and signing Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibsons of the world next year.
You can if you're not trying to compete.
Yeah, but
I'm just saying, like, if they're going to
I
next year and Heimblum says this is not a year where we're trying to win, then you most definitely can do that.
but how many of those guys can you sign? Like, are you going to sign four
You can
of them?
sign three. No, you don't even need to. You could go into next year and say Sonny Gray, Liberatore, Palante, and two free agents.
Well,
You
what
could do
about
that.
McGreevy?
Okay, exactly. So one free agent. So now there's only one
Okay,
spot. It's not as open as.
but then you have nobody if somebody gets on or gets hurt.
It's also the fact that that rotation would be just awful.
Yeah, right. It would be,
Basically, regardless of who you sign. Like you
but
could
it's awful
sign
this
Michael
year,
King. Yeah, I know, but Heimblum
right?
obviously is probably
So
gonna
you're not
not
going to
want
be
to
much
suck in his first year.
worse next year. So yeah, I guess
Here's
that
what
kind of answers my question. Then maybe that's not what you need to look for.
I mean, I think it is because I think you need people better. I don't think Palante should be in the rotation. I think
Right,
Liberatore should most definitely get a chance, but I don't know if he should be. I mean, he should
a
probably be
shoe in.
guaranteed a spot, but I don't know if he should be guaranteed the spot for the entire year, given if he continues to not be able to maintain velocity. I guess my question for Brendan Donovan, if if you're not going to give him an extension, then it's dumb not to trade him. If you're going to give him an extension, you want him
Yes,
to be here for a long time, then extend him.
right.
Like
Agreed.
I think if because then your valuations change. You don't say
Yes,
you're trading 2.5 years of Donovan if you want to extend him. Then you're trading
right,
potentially 6.5 years of Donovan,
right.
however many years you're going to give him. But if you're going to keep him, then you have to keep him here, or else why are you keeping him?
Yeah, I agree.
So I mean, preferably I would like him to be here for a long time, but I don't know if he
Just
is.
once, I want the Cardinals if they're going to trade, and they hadn't done this for a long time till like 2018. I think that was like the first year they really were sellers at the trade deadline since pre Tony.
I
If
don't
we're
think
going to
they
be,
sold in 2018. I
I
think they
think they
sold in
did.
2023 was the first time I remember.
I think they did make some trades in 2018. Maybe I'm wrong. I somebody could go back and
2018
fact check me
was
on
2018 was the
that.
year that Mike Schilt replaced Matheny in the middle of the year, so I don't remember.
Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, so that's true. That didn't happen because is that the year they went on the long.
That's the year they almost made it. They lost by like they lost in
Okay,
the final
so they
day or
didn't.
whatever.
You're right. That was the year that I thought everybody thought they were going to. Man,
That was the
that
year Doris Garcia fell down.
yeah. So they and I think they did like yeah. Okay, so I was wrong on that. But yeah, you're right. Like it's been there hasn't been a lot of that since the 90s in my lifetime.
Mm.
But I just hope that they get it right. Like I just hope they get us a couple guys that are we're looking at in 2 years going, oh, thank God. Like you see those guys around the league and you're like, they
Cole
were involved in the
Reagans,
fill in the blank trade. Pete Crow Armstrong. Like, look at what Washington did
right?
getting everybody for Soto. I'm just saying, like,
Well,
I'm
that's
not
different,
saying
but
we need
yeah,
to get a PCA. My point is, but somebody like that all of a sudden blossoms and
Cole
blooms, and
Reagans
you've
is
got
the
a guy
example. Like
who,
the Cole Reagans was traded for Aroldis
right?
Chapman.
Yes,
Now you can't ever say the Rangers lost that trade because they won the World Series. But
right,
my goodness, you had a rental reliever on a team going nowhere, and you got an ace. Like
right.
those deals are very rare, so I'm not saying
But
that that's the expectation, but
you,
it would be
but
nice for the Cardinals to do it once.
they're not as rare as you think. Like if you look at
I mean,
like
they're
I
pretty
every night
rare.
I watch games and they're like they got this guy in the so and so trade, and I'm like, what? Like how did that happen? How did like it
People
happens
forget.
way more than I think we think it happens.
Take a guess at who Yordan Alvarez was traded for from the Dodgers. This
Oh,
was
it
like
was I won't come up
2016,
with the
17.
name, but I do
Mike
remember it was
Fiers.
yeah, yes.
Why
Yep.
can't we do anything like that?
That's what I said. Just give me one. And honestly, it's Helsley who is a stud. So give me like we need two. You need two guys that are going to be on your 26 roster, I think, or at least one at Double A and one on your 26. Whatever you want to look at it. That's what I want. That's
Whatever it
what I
is, it
want to
needs to
happen.
be good. Like it
Yes.
needs to be a good return. You can't
Yep.
flub this
I
because
agree.
or else this year meant nothing.
Yes. Again, like last year, like we
Yeah.
went through the last 2 years. Yeah, you've got some guys here and there that you got in trades that are so okay in the bullpen, or they're okay, whatever, whatever. They're
Yeah,
okay. They
Joe Romero
might
was a
be
good
good.
trade.
They might never appear in the major leagues. I want guys that are on this roster for the next 5 to 6 years. That's what I want.
Or at least one of them. Like you're not gonna get it for everybody, clearly. But like, oh,
Before
there was also okay, go ahead.
no, go right ahead.
I wanted to say that since we've been really negative lately because Cardinals haven't given us any reason at all to be positive, I will say that I think the one thing we have found out this season, and with the Cardinals, you never know, next season he could be awful because that happens with the Cardinals. I think Ivan Herrera might actually be a star. And
I hope so.
not just like, oh, he's a really good hitter for the Cardinals. The dude has a 900 plus OPS. He
Yeah.
went through a little bit of a lull. He's broken out of it against a pretty decent pitching staff in San Diego. He was really good. I just think that guy has all the potential in the world to be a star. Like he has the charisma, he has the fire, and he's just and he nothing he does seems fluky. It's everything hard. He takes great at bats. I don't know. I can't tell you how many times with a guy on second base I've seen him just take a slider to right field for an RBI single, and he can
Yeah.
hit the ball as hard as anybody in the game, basically. Like I think they might, if they don't screw this up, I think they might actually finally have a guy that could be batting third for them for or second, third, fourth, whatever for 5 years or more.
Yep. I hope you're right. I mean, I
And
really
I
do
love
hope you're
that
right.
guy. I really do.
Which takes me to Pedro Pajes, and I need someone to break it down and explain him to me like I'm 5 years old because I looked it up. Right, everybody tells me, well, because they think they're smart, but they tell me that he's this defensive guy. He's bad in every metric, like that you can go to.
Besides
He's
framing.
even that he wasn't great.
He was like 77th percentile when I looked. He's like up in the upper. He's at least good at it. He's not great, but he's good.
Right, he's average. He's average or below average at everything, and hitting he's way below average. Like at least
He's
play
awful.
Pozo more.
I think Pozo should be their starting catcher next season.
He has an 830 OPS.
Yeah, and maybe that runs out if you give him consistent at
Of
bats. That's more
course,
than possible. But here's the thing, and I tweeted this out. Ali Marmol cannot control the starting rotation being bad. That's just because he has bad starters. He can't do anything about that. He
right.
begged for weeks to not have to pitch Eric Fetty anymore, and the front office just didn't listen. That's not his fault or his problem. But what he can do is look at his lineup and say, you know what? The top seven in our lineup are not good enough to withstand two black holes in our lineup. Because Victor Scott very much so has been that lately, or even for like months at this point. And Pajes has been that basically all year outside of the first 4 weeks. So
Right.
first month. And Jordan Walker's coming on, so we'll say top seven. I don't understand why you would look at this and say that Pedro Paz is giving you any value because his whole
Nothing.
thing has been game planning. And I don't doubt that
Yes.
he works hard and is good at that,
No.
but the starters are so bad that it just does not matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter if like how can I value his game planning if the guy's going out there and going three and giving up six?
Yeah. I agree with you. That I just don't get it. And again, I'm not trying to bash him by any means. He's a major league
No, he seems
baseball
like a great
player.
guy. He's a
I'm
good
right.
backup,
Agreed.
probably.
That's it. He'd be a great backup, but I
He's
don't
Andrew
understand him
Kisner.
starting 4 of 6 games. I don't get it. I don't get it.
He's Andrew Kisner.
Yes. Like maybe
Like,
not even that good.
and I love Andrew Kisner. I was working at Busch Stadium when Andrew Kisner was there. Awesome dude. Seems like a great guy. They are what they are, and they're never going to be more than that because that's just not what they're built to be.
Since we're negative, let me give you two stats that
And Pedro
might
seems like a great dude, by the way. Like I
agreed.
genuinely enjoy everything he seems to be off the field. It's just
Did,
on the field he's not enough.
did you know that the Cardinals starters haven't missed a start all year? Is that not wild? Like I don't think the Cardinals that's ever happened with the Cardinals.
It might have happened last year. Well, no, Lance Lynn got hurt for a bit. Yeah,
Correct.
I
Sonny
you
was hurt
remember.
last year.
Can we go?
Is
I
that
think
not
that's a bad
wild?
thing.
In the year
Yeah,
they
no, it's
might have
wild.
needed to miss starts, they haven't.
Which we talked about this in the off season, and I said this rotation only makes sense if there are injuries. And
That's yep.
and I said, what happens if there aren't any injuries? Are they just going to keep trotting these guys out there that aren't good? And that's exactly what they did.
Yes. Now, conversely, what is a really good stat for the Cardinals is they do lead all of baseball in outs above average, which is pretty cool. Like the defense has been very, very good.
Which
That's a great stat, actually. Doesn't mean
yeah.
anything because they're not a good
No,
team, but that is good. Now, I wonder what that changes with Herrera in left field. I do wonder what that changes, but
not much because Burley's been out there. Like Burley's
yeah.
probably like right around league average, maybe a bit below.
Well,
But
Newt
what I
was
will
out there
say
the
is
majority of the season.
right, yeah, true. But what I will say is what it does show is that coaching is not the problem.
Correct.
Because I remember when Mike Matheny's downfall happened, the biggest thing that people were pointing to was fundamentals were being lacked.
Yeah.
And then Mike Schilt came in and he rebuilt that. That was kind of Mike Schilt's whole thing, and they became the best defense in baseball basically for his entire time in St. Louis. And then Ollie, his first year, it was really good, 2022. And then 2023, they were awful, and everyone blamed Ollie for it.
Right.
And the last 2 years, they've been good again. And it's not like he has Victor Scott's all over the field. Like, yeah, he has Scott and Wynn who were great, and that helps a lot. But Jordan Walker was not a good fielder at all, and he's been okay at least this year. Like, give John Jay credit for that. I think it
Yeah.
at least shows that the coaching staff, I mean, they're doing something. It's just they can't teach these guys to be better hitters than they are because
Right.
they just aren't.
Ollie Marmol, by the way, was at Blue City Deli today.
Was he? Good. That's a good place.
By the way, I'm not. We don't get sponsored by them. Wish we did. If you'd like to call us, like that would be awesome. But that is my favorite deli in St. Louis.
You gotta go to, oh gosh, I'm gonna mess up the name. Giola's?
Joya's.
Joya's. I'm
Yep.
not
I've
I'm
not
not
been,
Italian.
so that is fair. I have not been, but I've been to some others.
But
But
they're both incredible. Like
yes,
Blue City
yes.
Deli is amazing. You should have told me. I would have gone and said hi.
Yep. Well,
I
you
live
were
right
at
down the
work,
road.
but that's all right. I do have one question before we move on to some things around the league. I think it was Chip that said it this weekend. I hadn't thought about it, I guess, enough, but he essentially said Manny Machado, Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I
I think
hadn't,
he's gonna
I
get
guess I
3,000
hadn't
hits.
thought about it, to be fair.
I think there's an argument that when it's all said and done, he's gonna have a more complete career than Mike Trout.
He's going to really.
And it's not because Mike Trout, he's never going to be a better player than Mike Trout was. Let me get that straight. But Mike Trout just can't stay on the field. Okay, so the normal benchmark, just for reference for those of you out there, if you're above 55 WAR, you're borderline, right? You're at least in consideration. He's going to end up with more WAR than Nolan Arenado, by the way, who we all think is guaranteed to get in. Manny Machado is for 32 years old. I can't believe he's only 32. That guy's been around my whole life. Um, and he has 61 WAR.
Yeah.
So let's just say let's just be conservative here and says he accumulates 9 WAR for the rest of his career, which by the way, he has like 10 more years on his contract. Um, if he does that, then he's at 70 WAR, and I don't think there's ever been a player with that much WAR to not get in.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I just, like I said, I guess I hadn't given it as much thought as I should have.
He's awesome, dude. Like he has a 340 OBP for his career. He has a 489 slug for his career. And the thing that's impressive about that is he's better in basically every offensive category this year than his career stats. And yet that's a 32-year-old doing that. Like we saw Nolan's decline start at around that age, and he's continuing to be better.
Right.
Um, he's also one of the best. Like he's gotten screwed by Matt Chapman and Nolan Arenado for a lot of his career by not winning Gold Gloves. But he's one of the silkiest third basemen I've ever seen.
And to Brian Hayes now.
You know who he reminds me of? Steroids aside, and maybe probably not as
Hey,
good.
Rod.
Um, no, no.
Oh,
Robinson Cano. He reminds me of
oh,
a third base Robinson Cano.
yeah.
And honestly, the stats are pretty comparable, to be honest with
Yep.
you.
Um, Before we get to trade deadline and get around the league, shout out to the Hall of Famers this week. I'm hoping we can go in 2 years. I'm hoping that they don't ruin it by putting Pete Rose with Albert and Yachty. Let's just pray that that does not happen because
Well,
that
who's
will
Trump going to
be
threaten to make that
well,
happen?
right. Well,
He's
not
trying to
going to
get
get
the
in.
Commanders back to the
Yeah, he'll
Redskins
sign
for no
some
reason.
order. Yes, right, 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 right.
Sorry, people who are going to be mad at
Yeah,
us for
I
saying
don't
that.
care. I do not care. But yes. But shout out to Dick Allen, well deserved, like what long time deserved. Should have done that probably a while ago. I hate it for Dave Parker, who as a
It
kid,
sucks.
like
It
I
sucks.
love I mean, when I first started collecting baseball cards in 1978, I was 4. And the coolest cards I ever got were the Pirates because of those uniforms and the hair out of the hats and like they just everything. So it was Dave Parker, Bill Madlock, Lee Lacy, like that group was I always kind of rooted for that group as a young kid outside of the Cardinals, right? Obviously, but I just wish that would. I wish he could have been there
I,
because the Cobra was a dude.
he was definitely he was a peak guy. Like his peak was really incredible with the Pirates. His career stats are not what you would normally expect from a Hall of Famer, but I
Yeah.
like going, and that's not to disrespect him. Like I'm perfectly okay with him getting in. I'm a big Hall guy anyway. I think Jim Edmonds should be in. There's a lot of guys that aren't in that I would put in, especially over some guys that are in. But I like going back and seeing how these like guys like Dick Allen, who played obviously in like the 70s,
Yep.
would be appreciated today if they were playing today. Dick Allen, if he played today, would have been in the Hall of Fame first ballot, maybe like close to unanimously. Guess
Yep.
what his OPS plus was for his career?
It's got to be 120s, right?
156.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
That's like Nolan Arenado's best season, by the way.
Yep.
And he did that for a career, short career, only 15 years, but still amassed almost 60 WAR. Which, by the way, now that we're going back and looking at these, the Manny Machado argument, Manny Machado already has more WAR than Dick Allen,
Yeah.
and Dick Allen's in the Hall
Yep.
of Fame.
Yeah. So, and then obviously those that were are well, my time period: Billy Wagner, Ichiro.
Ichiro was in my
Who am
childhood
I?
too.
Oh, CC. Love to see CC get in there as
CC and
well.
Ichiro were like two of the guys in my childhood for like obviously Ichiro's rookie year where he was
Yeah.
only rookie ever to win MVP. I was not around for that. That was
Yeah,
a
it was
year before
Albert's
my
rookie
birth.
year. That year was awesome in baseball.
Might be the I we have to go back and look at this. I have no way of knowing if this is true or not, but there's a chance that that year produced the best rookie of the years ever
I
in one
I
class.
I don't
It'd
think
be
you need to
hard
go
to
back.
beat it, right? It would
Yes,
be
I would
hard to beat
agree.
it. I mean, there
I
could be
would
a year
agree.
where it was like Roger Clemens and Barry Bonds. I don't think that happened, but it could have. I don't know.
No, I don't think so
Um,
either.
I don't know. I just made that up. But there could be a year like that where it's
Yeah.
not true. But yeah, no, I'm really happy for him that he's in because
And
obviously he
Billy
should be in.
Wagner, we've talked about this for 3 years. There was never an explanation that logically made sense why he wasn't in the Hall of Fame years
Because it
ago.
was
So
illogical.
I'm glad he got his flowers and got in.
If he threw right-handed, I think he would have already been in. And I don't know
He
what
was
it is about left-handed
5'10",
relievers,
threw
but
a 98-mile-an-hour sunflower seeds
which
by
means he was
everybody.
5'8", by the way, for those who don't
Right,
know.
right, right. Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
He
no,
was
I mean, he's
hard. I mean, he was in the National League most of his career, if not all. I don't know if it was all of his career,
best
but
left-handed
almost
reliever of all time.
that I've seen. There might be a guy out there that people
You know
could
who I'd like to
argue,
see?
but
I'd
he
like to see
is
where Aroldis Chapman stacks up with
right.
him.
Yeah,
I mean, Aroldis Chapman, by the way, not going to get in the Hall of Fame because of off the field issues, I would imagine. But and because he's going to be borderline. He's not there yet. But man, is he close.
yeah.
Aroldis Chapman's having an insane season this year. He has a
Yes, he
1.3
is.
ERA. He has
Yep.
two WAR this year. I mean, Aroldis
Okay,
Chapman's not going to
let's
get in the Hall
we
of
you
Fame,
hit
but
on it a little bit. Wild that Emmanuel Clase, my closer, by the way, my number one closer in fantasy for the first place Bandits, for which is my team, is now like one of my friends texted me and said, "Did Ortiz like just straight tell on him? Like, is bro code dead?"
it's possible, I guess. I mean, we don't know that for sure. I
Weird. That's weird.
I I don't know what to say about this because like it his stats aren't bad. So it's like I don't know if he was throwing games, but he did have some really bad
Rough
starts. They're
start. He was not good in the
not
beginning.
Emmanuel Class A type numbers, that's for
No,
sure. I don't why are people doing this?
that's okay. I had a discussion with somebody at work today about this. It's the one thing like I've read or heard or whatever that literally in every league, when they have the meetings with the teams at the beginning, it's like, do not bet on our
Well, they know it's
sport,
illegal for
no matter
sure.
what it is, right? Like you're making millions of dollars and you have a reputation. You're not making more at FanDuel than you
I
are
also
with your
don't know like
contract.
it brings up the question of how many guys have gotten away with this
Yeah,
because my whole thought is I don't think like how I don't know how you could think you're gonna get away with it, but then like you wouldn't obviously know how many guys have because they haven't been caught, so you don't know. But for Class A, like, dude, he's on a team friendly deal, primed to in a couple years, whenever that's up, get a massive payday, like one of the
yes,
biggest we've maybe ever seen if he can stay healthy and from a reliever that is, and he
reliever. You're
just
right.
threw it all away for don't know how much money he made, but it can't be
No,
significant to what he makes.
not even close.
And also I see a lot of people bring up Shohei Ohtani and be like, well, they didn't do this with Shohei
Oh,
Ohtani.
jeez.
Shohei Ohtani was federally investigated, and if you think the MLB was in cahoots with the Federal Bureau of Investigations to keep Shohei Ohtani on the baseball field, if the FBI gives a shit about that at all, you
Right.
don't know your baseball history because that's
Yeah.
not what happened with the Black Sox
No. Nor was it what happened with Otani. Like it's wild.
or
People do
Emmanuel
that all the
Clase or
time.
Emmanuel. I
Yep.
honestly think I think a lot of it's trying to tear down a guy who basically, like, if you look at Otani and everything he stood for his entire career and how basically perfect of a human being on and off the field he seems to be, they try to find one thing that can tear him down,
Right.
and I just hate
Yep.
that. He
Yep.
doesn't deserve that because all
We
signs
talked.
point towards
We
him
don't say a
being
lot about it
screwed
because a
over.
lot hasn't happened yet. But McMahon to the Yankees was sort of a surprise for me. Josh Naylor to the Mariners, good deal.
Like
Even
that
though I
move
thought
a
it'd be
lot.
Suarez. Are you surprised Suarez still hasn't been traded? And if you look his last week, you could tell it's wearing on him. He's struggling at the plate right now, and he made 2 errors the other night. That's like, or made an error in back-to-back nights, whatever it was. He been really good defensively. I think that's really wearing on him.
I'm not surprised he hasn't been traded because like if you're the Diamondbacks, what's the rush? If you're not getting what you want, there is no
Right.
rush. You can just wait. And even if you do get what you want, you could always think, well, we might get more if we wait until the deadline. Like Josh Naylor, by the way, I think is one of the better. That might end up being my favorite move of the
It
deadline
was really
because
good.
he is incredibly underrated for how good he is every year. But Suarez, like, I don't understand why any team would pay what they're reportedly asking because he's getting a ton of help from his homers, as he always has. By the way, a guy that's at 312 homers already, which is insane.
I know.
I like that if he's getting almost all of his value from homers, if you're Detroit, it would be almost disastrous to sign to trade for that guy.
Yeah.
Like he's
The
not in
Yankees make
Arizona
it.
anymore.
I thought it was gonna be the Yankees, but then they go get Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, and I don't like that move at all because I don't think
It was a
Ryan
weird
McMahon's
one.
very good.
Ryan McMahon's a
But
good ball player. Like he's good.
he's not though. He's really like he's average, but actually
Yeah.
below average. Like that's the thing with something. Like he was a good ball player at one point in time. He has 16 homers, which is nice. You like that. But he's below average offensively. Like
Yep.
and by the way, below average offensively in Colorado.
Few things around the league. Aaron Judge has hurt. Hopefully, avoided
Yes.
something significant because if you look at what he has done, I mean, I just think I will say it. I know it's not true, but I don't think he's as appreciated as he should be. And I've said this before on here about Harper. I've said it about a lot of people. I don't think we're really greatly appreciating what we should be with what he's doing night in and night out. Uh,
Yeah.
like it's unbelievable. And he plays a good center field. Now they're gonna put Stanton in the outfield, so when Judge comes back, he can DH at least until he starts to get healthy. That's fine. At least he's in the lineup. But hopefully we need Aaron Judge in the game every night because it is exciting and it's great for baseball.
His peak right now, like if you were to look at the last, let's just say since 2022, because those are the years where he really like ascended into like not just being a great baseball player, but being like an all-time great baseball player. He he's having the best non-steroid peak of my lifetime, and it's not
Yeah.
close.
I mean, I was watching a show today. I don't remember what it was, but they were talking about how essentially he's putting him, if he wins another MVP, he's putting himself in mantle like territory with the Yankees. And I mean, he's going to have a
He has to
statue out
win.
there in the park out there.
The thing about the Yankees is you're never going to be in Mantle, DiMaggio, Ruth territory until you win a World Series or multiple. But
I
yes, in
think I
terms of
agree
how
with
he's
that.
performing on the field, yes. You want to hear his OPS plus since 2022 by year?
Yeah.
Keep in mind 100 is league average. 210, so he's over two league average baseball players. 175 down year in 2023 when he was injured, by the way. 225, and then this year 218. So he
Unbelievable.
since 2022 he has been worth more than two average baseball players.
Yep.
By the way, the Cardinals barely have league average baseball players on their team. Like he actually is like people say that guy's like two baseball players in one. He value wise, he literally is.
Yeah. We are lucky as baseball fans right now to be living in the time of Otani and Judge. To be really, and there's others. I mean, you know that Bryce Harper's like, we'll get to
Trout.
him in here in a second. Like that's one of my all-time favorite baseball players is Bryce Harper. But and he's having a really good year, right? Like he's gotten
Can I throw
hot.
another guy into that list that I don't think is getting appreciated enough, mainly because he's missed 2 years due to injury, two full seasons. I think Ronald Acuna Jr. might be the most talented, um, other than Otani because he pitches, but most talented baseball player to ever walk the
His on
planet.
base right now is like 420 or something like that.
424.
418.
Like, and this
Yeah,
is
there it is.
coming off of, by the way, two seasons of torn ACLs and different ACLs, by the way. And
Yep.
did you see that throw he made last week?
Yes.
That's like Ripken-esque. Not
Yep.
Ripken. Ankiel. I don't know what
Vladdy.
the fuck I'm thinking of. Ankiel. Rick Ankiel.
Yeah. Yeah.
Colorado. Yeah,
Much
easily.
more Vladdy, but yes, or Raul Mondesi. But yeah, I get
Rick
where you're
Ankiel
going
has
with
one of
that.
the greatest throws of
Yeah,
all time.
I get it. I get it. I get it. Um,
Don't shit on Rick. That's all he
by the way,
has.
Cal Raleigh, by the way, that I also think the guy, and he gets more love because of the nickname, and he gets love because he won the home run derby and everything else. Cal Raleigh has 41 home runs, Caleb.
Yep.
41 home runs as a switch hitter, as a catcher. and playing in Seattle in a playoff I mean, they're a playoff team right now. Like he has 41 home runs. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's almost like I don't know how you quantify it because like I don't think there's any catcher that's ever done anything close to this. And like he could end up like Johnny Bench obviously is the guy that put up some insane home run numbers at points in his career. But I just don't think that there's ever been a catcher season anywhere close to this.
He has a chance to break the catcher home run record, the switch hitter home run record, the Mariners home run record, and potentially Judge's home run record. I don't think he'll get there, but
I mean, he's on pace to.
yeah,
Okay, Johnny Bench is known as probably having maybe the best peak of any catcher ever, right? He's in that
he and
conversation.
Pudge, he and Pudge.
Pudge just offensively wasn't that caliber, though. I'm talking about offensively.
Okay,
He wasn't. I mean, he never hit 40 home runs.
I know, but it's everything else was incredible. But yes, yes,
I'm talking about just offensively.
right. I
Like
get it.
defense
I
did
get
good.
it.
What do you think the most home runs Johnny Bench ever hit in a season was?
Well, did he hit 40?
Yeah, twice.
42?
45. So Cal Raleigh
Okay,
has four more home runs to get to Johnny Bench's best season ever, and he's
yeah,
well regarded as maybe the best hitting catcher to ever live. Great.
yeah. I mean, it's wild. It's absolute, and he's got a shot to break Mantle's switch hitting record. 50, and Piazza's got the catcher's record, I think, and I don't remember what that number is.
Yeah, but put an asterisk next to
But
that one.
yeah, I mean, this what a season. What a season.
Why is Mike Piazza in the Hall of Fame?
Because he hits home runs and was drafted in the 60th round. Can you believe there used to be 60 rounds in baseball?
And Mike Piazza should be in the Hall of Fame as a player. I'm asking for other reasons. What?
Oh, yeah. So can you believe there's 60 rounds in baseball now? That's wild. Or there were.
They're not anymore. Yeah,
No.
yeah. And he was drafted as a favorite at Tommy Lasorda. So,
Yep.
okay. So I was right. I think Johnny Bench had the record for most home runs in a season by a catcher.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't
Because
Piazza. I guess I read it wrong.
Piazza's most ever was 40. So
Oh,
Raleigh's already
okay. Then you're
passed
right.
Piazza.
Yep. I was wrong on
Like
that.
Piazza's, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You got to watch him. I didn't really. I don't think I ever did, actually. Piazza has been regarded as maybe the best hitting catcher ever.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
in that conversation, because he was solely in
yes,
the Hall of Fame for
absolutely.
hitting.
Yeah.
And he's already surpassed him in home
Yeah.
runs for a season.
What did not hurt Mike Piazza was playing in LA and New York either. Like neither of those things hurt him.
No, but he was also like incredible.
Oh, agreed. Agreed. No argument. Zero argument. Next, what was I going to say? Oh, hold on. Lost it. Completely had it. And, oh, Bryce Harper. That's what it was. I knew there was something we wanted to talk
Mhm.
about. So Harper cusses out Rob Manfred. Love that a little bit. I, as someone who does want baseball to go to a salary cap, I get it. I mean, that's standing up. I mean, could you imagine sitting in there and Bryce Harper's nose to nose with Rob Manfred, telling him to get the fuck out of his clubhouse like that? That's
You say you
unbelievable.
want a salary cap?
I mean, yeah, I would like a floor and a cap in baseball, but it's not going to happen. So
I don't even know where I stand on that. I think
I
that
like the NFL that has
ideally
it.
you want to have to have
I
one.
like NHL has it. I think it would help MLB considerably. But I also do believe the floor has to happen in concert with the ceiling. That's what I'll say.
Yes, it does. But here's it's similar to like the NHL for me. Not similar, but like when you look at the NHL when they had this and they implemented that, it was like everyone competing at least tries to do as much as they can to do whatever they can to stay below the cap. Like they're trying to get up as close as possible, I guess is what I'm trying to say to the cap. I don't think that would be the case in Major League Baseball.
Right.
But for Bryce Harper, like the one that does, it didn't shock me. Did it shock anybody that he was the one to do that? No,
No.
like it does not surprise me at all. I love it. And I think it's like I texted you and said that's like the definition of standing on business. He did not back
Yes.
down, which why would he? He's Bryce
No.
Harper. But my other take on this is we're gonna have a massive work stoppage in Major League Baseball, and it might be
Does
the worst we've seen since '95.
yeah, I
Like
hope
the
not, but it sure feels that way.
like it just they're gonna push for a salary cap, and the players just aren't gonna budge on it. And I also think I think the players are focusing on the wrong things here, and this is gonna be a conversation for the future. But how about we stop? I saw a stat today. I think it was Travis Salchik that posted it that the Major League Baseball has the highest percentage by a long shot of people that are in the league playing on league minimum, and they're not
Yeah.
even trying to address that.
Yep. Agreed. I agree
Like,
with
let's
you.
address that. Let's address
Yep.
the fact that Jackson Merrill last year made $700,000, and he was like
Right.
one of the most valuable players, if not the most valuable player on a playoff team.
Yep. I agree. Well, there was something else I wanted to say too about that. Good Lord. My memory is starting to go a little bit, I think.
Also, like I kind of feel for the commissioners. Other
I mean, it's a
than
tough job.
Other than Bud Selig, because forever I will dislike that man. But for Rob Manfred, like he has to do what the owners tell him to do, or he's gonna get fired. Like he can't do
Yeah.
anything else. But also, like you took the job, so you didn't have to. He was a lawyer before.
Nick Kurtz went 6 for 6 with
Say it
four
slowly.
jacks, and his double almost went out. So it's almost 5 home runs, a
Hmm.
single, and 19 total bases.
Yep.
I didn't.
Crazy.
I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. That's against the Astros. That wasn't in Sacramento against uh, the Angels. That was in
Right.
Houston against the Astros, a playoff team.
Yeah, it's one of the crazier. Like I think Anthony Rendon had a game where he went 6 for 6, but I think he only hit like one homer, so it wasn't even close. But I remember that it might have been 7 for 7. It was like a crazy thing. I think Chase Utley did something like that too. But to hit 4 homers and go 6 for 6, that's like a good week for any Cardinal player. That's a great week. That's a good month for some Cardinal players. He did it one day.
Unbelievable. I'm happy for him. I want that. I hate that team left Oakland and is going to Las Vegas. I hate it with all of my heart. But I've always
Yep.
had, and I think it goes back to the 80s when I was a
Ricky
fan of
Henderson.
Canseco and McGuire and Ricky Henderson and Dave
Canseco.
Henderson and all Dave Stewart. Tony La Russa was there. And I really did Carney Lance. I loved that team. Walt Weiss. I loved that team in Oakland. I had the Bash Brothers poster in my room. Like I had all the baseball cards of that team. I had an A's hat, first fitted hat I ever bought, right down the road at the Riverwalk here in New Orleans. Why my parents brought me to New Orleans when I was 14, I don't know, but we did on a way home from Florida, and I bought an A's fitted hat, first one I fitted hat I ever owned. So I want that team to be good, and they do have some great young talent on that team, and they've got a lot heading that way. I just hope that they don't do what they have done forever. And once they start getting good, trade them all and then just start the cycle over again because baseball will struggle in Las Vegas if that does happen.
I think baseball's going to struggle in Las Vegas regardless.
I don't know. I mean, baseball, it's a hotbed for baseball. It has been. The minor league team's always done well. UNLV's always drawn well. There's a lot of major leaguers that come out of Vegas. I don't know. I thought hockey would struggle in Vegas. It has not.
No, it hasn't, but that's also because they've been winning every year since they've been in the league.
I understand that, and I think that's going to be the rock and the hard place to see if this owner, if he goes out and spends money, you say great for baseball, but if you're
But when he
if you're
does,
from
it's
Oakland,
on
you're like,
Luis
what were we doing?
Severino. So Luis Severino's who he's spending money on. Like
They're in Sacramento right now, though. That's what I'm saying. Like right now, is that I'm not worried about now. My thing is in the next 2 years when Tommy White's up, when their other pitchers are up. They got the young, who's the kid from LSU? That's the pitcher that's there. I can't think of his name,
from
but he's
LSU.
yeah, I can't think of his name. He's their number one prospect now.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh my God. Either way,
I'm just completely like I'm just honestly I'm just kind of fed up with that organization
I
to a
get
point
it.
to where I don't.
Last
I
thing I'll
love their
say, and then
players. I
if
love
you,
Brent Rooker.
yeah, I love that. I love Lawrence Butler. I love
Yeah,
this
he's
Nick
great.
Kurtz. I don't mind Soderstrom. I don't mind that. Also, last thing I'll say, Paul Skeens has 43 starts and he has a 1.83 ERA in his career. What's going to happen there? Is it the best 43 starts you've ever seen? It is probably the best 43 starts I've ever seen. It might be the best 43 starts baseball's ever seen. I don't know. I
Best
didn't do
43
that.
starts to start a career for sure.
Okay.
Um, I would say Jacob deGrom's prime probably he had a better 43 and probably Kershaw as well. But regardless, what did you say zero was 1.48? Is that what you said?
1.83.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, yeah, probably. Like if
Right.
I'm looking
That's
here, DeGrom had a
like
1.2 ERA in
what if
2021.
you're Bob Nutting, I know you don't want to spend money. I get it. But if you don't do something, he's gone. And how do you
He should be
continue to
traded.
look your fan base into the eyes if you've traded Cole Glass now you're trading Paul Ski?
He
Like
doesn't
then
care
you're just
about
telling
that. He
Pittsburgh
doesn't
you're
care
never
about that.
ever going to compete.
Yeah, he doesn't you're confusing the fact that the guy just does not care about that at all.
So at one point is baseball culpable to step in and say this is one of our 30 like markets that you're just
Dude, they
ruining
hold
every
on.
year?
They allowed an owner to take baseball out of the sixth biggest market in the
Yeah.
country.
True. You're right.
So why are they going to care about Pittsburgh,
Yeah.
which is
He's
like
going to
one
be
of
a
the smaller
Yankee or a
markets in the
Dodger, and
country?
I hate that.
Yeah, and he's going to get like $40 million, and he's going
Right.
to have the life that he really doesn't have enough. Apparently, he has everything. So
Yeah,
Like
I
screw
get
that
it.
guy,
All
honestly.
right. Anything else you need to say before we get out of here? Because I'm done for the night.
No, I need to get off here actually. Go back to the
Cardinals got the
grind.
Marlins and the Padres. That I'm not really that concerned about. But if there is a trade made, we will be back. Correct?
Yeah, unless it's like I don't know, do we come back
Something.
if JoJo's traded by himself?
Well, we might just wait then and do one if somebody else gets traded.
I mean, we're getting to a point now to where it's like all the trades are gonna happen in the next two
Yeah.
days,
But if there's a
3 days.
big one, then I think we'll be back for sure.
Yeah, like if
But
Newt gets traded or something. Oh, Eugenio Suarez exited the game after being hit in the hand by a pitch.
oh no. After he got hit in the All-Star game.
That sucks for the Diamondbacks and
Yeah.
him.
Yep. That's why you don't wait. That's why you trade him.
No, well, that's not fair because people wait till the deadline for almost everybody.
I know, I get it. But all right, well, I'm gonna get out of here because it's hot in this front room. It was like 114 or something today here. So
Yeah, it was insane here too.
yep. All right. We will be back if something happens big, and we'll be back anyway with the trade deadline. It was good to be back. We'll talk to you soon. Go Cards.